Hip pain, hip blockage, totally reduced mobility, no longer able to walk well, even arthritis in the hip. It's a huge issue because we walk on our hips, so to speak, and older people in particular have a huge problem with this in some cases, and we resolve this through precisely these exercises that eliminate this. And if you ask yourself, how does it come to all these things? It's not meant to be like that at all. It's not meant to be like that, but we don't move in certain angles enough. You already know about the overstretching, which of course applies to the back and also to the hip because the hip flexor pulls directly over here and goes over the hip. So that's actually the same reason. We usually have our feet too close together. We stand less in a straddle because we have to work somehow in such positions that everything falls away and everything around the hips constricts more. And when it gets really bad, you still play football and you do this movement without balancing it out, and you can't really shorten the inner muscles here anymore. So that's enough reason to resolve all this here. And if you do what we're doing together now, these exercises regularly, then you'll notice how your hip becomes freer and freer. I will explain one exercise after the other. Ina will show you, and then you can stop after each exercise, do the exercise at your own speed, and then continue. And at the end, you will have your result. The first exercise is to get down on all fours, Ina, and now let pelvis sink more and more downwards, groin first. The reason for the groin first is to have a nice effect on the hip flexors and not to get too much of a hollow back. And now there is a pull in the back. Please don't be alarmed. It pulls in the groin. It can pull in the abdomen. And why do I not say frightened? Because many people think that the moment it hurts in the back, that the back is damaged or that the joint, the hip joint, is damaged. The opposite is the case. If it hurts where it hurts anyway, then the exercise is suitable for removing this pain because after the exercise, it hurts less or not at all. You go in and let yourself hang like this for a minute and make sure that your groin always pulls downward. After a minute, you put your right knee out and put your right foot against your left leg and let yourself hang like this for a minute. Now, the left hip gets a different stretch than the right. Both are important, yes? Then you change after a minute, yes? Go back again, please, Ina, and put your left knee out. Switch sides and let yourself hang in this position for another minute. And now, what was one-sided before is balanced out again. And then you come out of the exercise and sit on your heels, if that's possible, and rest your torso on your thigh and balance the whole thing a bit. That was the first exercise. For the second exercise, you do it like this. You take your right leg. So first sit down, take your right leg forward, yes? First the legs. We do it straight legs first so that you can understand it better. And now you put the lower part of your right leg under your left leg and fold the leg backward, yes? Go way back, and keep your torso completely upright, like this. Make sure you're at 90 degrees in front, and you make sure that the leg behind rests on the top side of your foot, and that the right side of the buttocks is down. And now it usually pulls in the right buttock, on the outside of the right thigh, and it pulls in the left side of the groin. And the more you go up, the more it pulls on the left. And that's a wonderful exercise because you're giving a lot of freedom to the gluteal muscle on the right and a lot of freedom for the hip flexor on the left. And you do the whole thing and hold it for 2.5 minutes, right? For 2.5 minutes, you go more and more upward, more on the left side of the groin. Keep the pain under 10. This stretching pain that frees up the hip in this way. Then you do the whole thing on the other side. We'll show it briefly. You go forward with your legs, come under the right with your left leg, and fold the right one back. And you come all the way up, yes? but you remain sitting on the ground with the left buttocks. Yes, yes. Now, we have the same thing on the other side, and you do that again for 2.5 minutes. And then you come out of it again. Get on all fours. So now, the first thing you have to do is to put both knees as far apart as possible, right? Left and right knee as far apart as possible, and the feet together like this. And then, as in the first exercise, let your pelvis sink further and further down. The arms remain stretched, and you let yourself sink down, which of course pulls on the inside of the thighs where the adductors are. And these can also contribute massively to your hips being blocked and immobile, which is why it's wonderful that we're now stretching them out so nicely, yes? If you count the sides, that's 5 rounds. You can slowly come out again and do one after the other, just as I told you. And I forgot to tell you the time for the last one, which is also 2.5 minutes. And when you come out of these 5 rounds and repeat them every day, you will notice that your hip pain will go away. The arthritis will stop. It will also start to regenerate because that is possible, even if nobody believes it, yes? Or only a few people who know about it. But some still think it can't be done. Cartilage can't be rebuilt, but it can. Pain goes away, arthritis can be rebuilt, and the blockage of these restricted movements at whatever angle get resolved. Try it out, because that's the only way you can find out if what I'm saying is true. I hope your hip feels good. If you get a sore muscle, don't be scared. That's the activation of the deactivated muscle areas. That's what causes it. Please share the video with lots of people who should also see how they become freer, more flexible in their hips, and pain-free, especially older people. Some of them can no longer walk because of their hip problems. They should walk because they have to keep their metabolism up. That's totally important. Please help us with this and share it with these people or anyone who has something with their walking or hips and can't really do it. Up here, you come to a video where the hip function and what's happening with the hip, things that you might not know, yeah? You can subscribe to our channel down here. If you haven't already, don't forget to activate the bell. Ina, what do we say? We say ciao. See you next time.